Yo, I just want to let you guys know I almost hit the wrong button today. Sorry about it.
Wouldn't be the first time.
Wouldn't be the first time. Yo, I slipped out. Guys, we're having trouble. Listen, guys, relax. I know you guys are seeing the handshake. Some of you guys are probably listening on the podcast. There's a Christmas tree in our way. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. We got our hats on. We got our Christmas sweaters on. It's the All Day Everyday Show in the holiday season with All Day AJ and Manny Ruffin. As always, powered by Dimers. And in honor of this season of giving, I'm not going to pick one book. I'm not going to pick BetMGM. I'm going to pick every single one. If you want to support the show in the season of giving, head over to www.dimers.com/ADED to directly support the show. You can pick books and bets like PointsBet, like BetMGM, like BetRivers. Twin Spires is on there. Monkey Knife Fight is on there. You pick. I'm not going to pick one for you today. You pick, okay? You'll be directly supporting the show, and it means a great deal to us. We have some big announcements coming up for you guys in probably by the end of this week. You will know that. So by the time this is up, we will probably have a big time announcement out there for you guys that is very, very meaningful for us and what we're going to be able to do moving forward towards the end of this football season. So definitely be on the lookout for that. But without further ado, let's talk about this wild weekend that we had. Let's do it, man. We got a reaction show tonight.
Crazy. Yeah, fact. No, it's funny. We actually have, with the reaction show tonight, I was thinking it was funny because with the show today, we have the Jake Paul Woodley fight, obviously. And we have some analytics talk we're going to get into. But it's funny because like it's going to apply to the reaction show too. But this is a nice place for us to get it all out and really interview out. And then the PNC championship, we saw a lot of father-son duos balling. Like there was a lot of publicity around Tiger and Charlie Woods, which is 100% deserved.
Sure.
But there were some other dudes out there hitting some shots. So let's get into it with the Paul Woodley fight. Let's go.
Let's go. All right. So Jake Paul and Tyron Woodley. So a lot of controversies have developed over these past couple of days post-fight on, we obviously know there was that 6th round knockout from Jake Paul, and the controversies are starting to come up. The conspiracy theories are starting to come up of, oh, well, you can see his hand. He turns it like this, and he turns his wrist twice before he actually throws the punch. Then there's other videos that are out there where it shows that Woodley doesn't actually get hit cleanly. Like he kind of like backs away a little bit, and the punch kind of grazes over Woodley's mouth and his nose, but he still falls and he gets knocked out. So you tell me about that. Here's my thoughts on it. We did a conversation and a debate on Jake Paul after his fight against Ben Askren months ago. And what we talked about is that he needs to fight a real boxer. He needs to fight somebody that hasn't, Manny's quote during that podcast was, hasn't, drunk a 6-pack of IPAs before the fight. For me, and I was hating on him. I'm like, bro, like, how can I respect you right now? Like, how can I, when you literally are fighting nobodies? You fought Nate Robinson. You fought a YouTuber. You fought Ben Askren, and then you get Woodley twice. So I was hating on him. After this fight, I have to respect him right now. Right now, I respect Jake Paul. I'm not going to say that I love him. I'm not going to say that I'm going to be rooting for him every single fight, but I respect him now from when he post-fight against Ben Askren. And here's why. So everyone's going to say, well, he's not fighting real boxers. He's a joke to the sport. Is he a joke to the sport, though? Is he? You can't say he's a joke to the sport because what is he doing correctly, right? He is bringing people to arenas and putting butts in seats. He is selling out arenas. He is selling out pay-per-views. And he's providing entertainment by knocking people out. So you tell me, what's he doing wrong? What is he doing wrong? He's doing everything right in terms of this sport. And not now technically speaking, he has a lot to improve on, right? And we know that. But in terms of everyone's sitting here going to say, with the UFC is so much better than boxing. There's much more entertainment there. It's not like picking and choosing our rounds like Floyd Mayweather. He's changing that because he's bringing revenue in. And Canelo is the highest paid boxer at the end of this calendar year. He will be the highest paid boxer. Who's number 2? Jake Paul. In 4 fights, he's going to be the number 2 ranked highest paid boxer. What? So I have utmost respect for Jake Paul because of those three things. He's bringing in revenue. He's creating trauma and chaos throughout the UFC because he's watching, Masvidal walk out and Nate Diaz walk out after he wins, and then he's calling them out in the press conference saying, I'm going to beat you. And give me Usman, give me McGregor, give me Masvidal, give me Diaz. I don't think we need to go there. I would, and Masvidal responded to that by saying, come into the UFC ring, and when I bash you with some elbows, then we'll see how it is. And that's the difference here, and that's why Floyd didn't go to Conor in the UFC, and he had Conor go to him, right? So that's the same thing. So I don't really like that comparison. All I'm saying is he looked like he had some power. It was a very boring fight leading up to that 6th round, but he looked like he had some power. He was able to take some punches from Woodley. Again, Woodley doesn't have like the boxer type power, but still, he's getting his feet wet. He's experiencing these positions of how I have to take getting hit and where I move next and how I keep my stamina built for 8 rounds. This was only an 8-round fight. But I have to say, I have to respect you, Jake. I'm sorry. Like, for the people that are going to hate on it, I can't sit here and say I'm going to bash you for yet another fight that was the second time you fought somebody. I can't. That's my take on Jake Paul. I just can't hate on him right now. He's bringing in the money. He's bringing a lot of motherfucking attention to this sport when they need it badly. I feel bad for guys like Ryan Garcia. I feel bad for guys like Canelo, for guys like Tyson Fury, because a lot of this attention is all on the UFC, and it's not in boxing. And I think, as shitty as it is to say, you have to give Jake that credit that he is helping boxing stay afloat.
Yeah, I just don't, like, you make some good points. Like, yes, we have to respect Jake Paul, but I don't necessarily respect him as much as a fighter still.
Yeah, as a fighter.
Like, if you, like, I watched the fight back, like, that, it was a snooze fest through 5 rounds, but it was, like, Jake Paul was winning the fight, but there was a lot more 10-9s in the first one. Way more 10-8s in the first one. Tyson Fury. Woodley only threw 4 jabs again, and it was still a very close fight through 5 rounds. Are you telling me Tommy Fury he's going to throw way more than 5 jabs, have way more of a plan, better punches, probably going to protect himself way more. I don't, like, it's Jake Paul is cool, it's good, you're doing your thing, but I still need to see something. It's like a basketball player, a football player, he keeps putting up these crazy stats for these teams that just aren't the best. Or a guy in college is like, he's on the Heisman watch, but he plays in a D1 on a low D1 school, and he's playing in the Mountain West, but he's tearing it up in the Mountain West. But it's like, all right, I still need to see what you can do versus Bama. That's how I feel about Jake Paul. And I completely respect him. Great dude. I mean, he's giving Woodley Rolexes and shit. They're dapping up after the match too. He had one part where he was like, "I'll fight anybody. I told you I was gonna fuck him up." Yeah, I love all that, but I still think you need a lot of work. I just think when it comes down, when you fight an experienced boxer, you're not gonna have 5 rounds to play with them. You're not gonna have 5 rounds to be not at your best. You're not gonna have 5 rounds to be out of shape. Like, those guys are gonna hop on that. Tommy Fury 7-0 professionally. You could say the same about Jake Paul, but
not the same context.
You know what I'm saying? Like, is it really as professional? And when it comes to Woodley and people saying that fight's rigged, when I first talked about it, we were on the phone at 1 o'clock in the morning, and I was about to, because we were saying, like, yeah, they were saying the fight rigged, and I was like, and I was about to go off, and I was like, all right, let me save it for the podcast.
Right.
But when I watched the fight again, I looked at the clips more and more, and I'm like, I see what you guys are going for, but let's be honest about who Woodley is. He's a UFC champion. Probably one of the best chins to come through the UFC in a long time. A ton of pride. You see how he carries himself in the interviews, very stoic. Like, I can't see a guy like that being like, yeah, I'm gonna hop on here and just basically pull like a Creed fake knockout for a couple grand or $500,000, whatever the fuck it is. Like, nah, I'm gonna come out here and fight like on short notice. Like, fuck it. Because he's a fighter. I don't know.
Well, so
I don't think it could possibly be. I don't think it could possibly be. I think it's one of those things where it's like really hard to rig too. Like, this isn't like, you don't just snap your wrist twice and he puts his, like, it's way harder than that. And you see how Woodley's on the mat. He is knocked out cold. His body's twitching. He was hard to. That's something that's hard to fake.
That's
then people talk about Woodley dropping his left hand before he knocked out. But if you looked at round 2, he got hit with a wild 1-2. Jake Paul went to the body and came over top. So, in the back of his mind after round 2, he's like, I have to watch out for that 1-2. So when Jake Paul's kind of faking at that body, he's dropping his hand because he already got caught with a crazy 1-2. So I just don't think it was rigged. Moral story, fight wasn't rigged. Jake Paul, we do respect you. I respect your work. You're a successful man. I can't hate on it. I do need you to still fight better competition.
You're right. The moral of the story is, like, we want to see a boxer. But my last thing on everything is, like you just stated, people are going to say that he dropped his hand and that's when Oh, he wiggled his arm twice, his wrist twice, and then he dropped his hand, and that was the signal to drop the hand. The punch is coming. If you actually see, he's not dropping his hand to his side. He's dropping his elbow to his rib cage because he thinks the body shot's coming. He doesn't drop his hand directly to his foot. He drops it to tuck it into his side so he can block that coming in. But it was just I guess a bad read on Woodley because it's not like Jake did anything. It's not like he like faked the body and then went up top.
And we still got to give Jake Paul his respect for that because, I mean, he hits people with really nice 1-2s, those really nice combinations, and that's something that, and not even that, that's something that you hit him with that 1-2 in round 2, and then you know, that, like if you're a good boxer, you know in the back of your mind, oh, I got him on something. Now I know this is.
I also
open.
just
so
like.
I gotta show my respect for that.
I just like where his head is right now. Jake Paul did an interview, and they were asking him about his thoughts on Canelo, and he was like, I actually didn't really like him at first, but I've grown to actually like his hustle, and he came from nothing, and he's now, number one. So he's like, in a different world, different lifetime, I could see us being friends. But, maybe 3 years down the line, the guy that's the highest paid boxer and the guy that's the second paid, highest paid boxer, can clash for like the biggest amount of revenue. That was what he was saying. And I saw this clip on TikTok of him.
Don't do that, Jake.
Oh
my God.
But so I think he was saying
There's
wants 3 years.
People that really care about you, bro.
He wants 3 years to get to Canelo.
Yeah, there's people that really care about you, Jake. You got families, you got brothers, you got a whole army of people that really care about your health, well-being, and if you're going to be a happy person. I just don't think you would leave that ring.
The only thing that we have to worry about now...
I don't think you could fight Canelo. I don't think you could fight Shakar Stevenson. I don't think you could fight Tank. I don't think you could fight Ryan Garcia. I don't think you could
Tank
fight
would kill him.
I don't think you could fight any of those guys. And that's not me saying you're bad, Jake. That's me just saying those guys are that good.
They're better.
And they're in that bracket. Chill, G. Just chill. I would love to see you try to fight some Golden Gloves. Like fight the Golden Glove champ. You know what I mean? Fight an amateur coming up. You don't gotta fight the number one guy for me. I just want to fight someone that wakes up every day and he's boxing. He goes to the gym and he trains boxing.
This is going to change. Like, I'm eager to see if he loses, where's the mentality? Where does he go? What's next, right? Because that could change the whole outcome of what's actually in store for him. Because it's like, most people are already thinking when he gets that first loss, it's like, all right, well, this joke's up. This gig's up. I'm done. But judging how he's speaking, he wants everybody, and he wants to fight everybody and their goddamn mom. Like, he's ready to just tee it up with everybody. That was the Jake Paul fight. We'll see what the hell happens with him next. Does Tommy step in now, or is Jake officially moved past that? We will see. Let's go to the NFL analytics and what happened on Thursday Night Football that eventually led to another controversial call on Sunday night with the Chiefs and the Chargers, and then Harbaugh's call against the Packers at home. So take it away, sir.
I mean, honestly, in my opinion, like this argument as a whole is just getting old, and not because it's like it's been around for 5-6 years, just because it's the same exact thing we're going with baseball 5 years ago when it came with in the playoffs. We're subbing in pitchers every 2 batters. We're doing the shifts. Like we went through this before with baseball. My opinion, there's no like if you're a fan of a team, right, and you're really emotionally invested to a team, there's no reason you shouldn't want your coach to expend every single resource he possibly could expend to win a championship. Now, on the other side of that, I do want to see coaches kind of have more intuition with their decisions, like not solely analytics, but I feel like we were seeing that. There's only a couple coaches that come to mind when I think they're strictly just going for it on analytics, and that's Brandon Staley, and Dan Campbell's been a big one, but their team just fucking sucks, so it's not much in the limelight. But, I mean, the Chargers are hitting 4th downs at a 58% clip this year. You're playing the Chiefs. Like, everyone's having the arguments like, yo, you take the points, you take the points, you take the points. I get it, but look at the Bills in the AFC Championship last year. Took the points on a 27-yard field goal to go into halftime. Took the points on a 23-yard field goal out of halftime. They got, well, it ended up being closer than it looked, but it was like 31-15 at a point, and they scored a garbage time touchdown. It was over. You have to go for those situations against the Chiefs. That's something that's situational, in my opinion. Now, all the 4th downs he went for, I don't know. But there's a couple of them in the red zone. It's like, all right, we probably should go for this. Like, they're breathing on our necks. They're like, we're in a shootout with the Chiefs. Do you think he
got to the point where, like Brandon Staley, do you think he got to the point where he was like, all right, guys, like talking to his coaches upstairs, talking to his offensive
I'm in too fucking deep. Like, you know what I mean?
We can't miss another one.
No,
right?
no. And that's the thing. It's like, so you're already 0 for 2 or 0 for 3. Like, analytics, your team analytics say we get this 58% of the time. I'm gonna have to live and die by the sword in this kind of game with this kind of magnitude. I get it. Like, and when I get into the Harbaugh decision too, it's like people were trying to come out of Harbaugh. Like I think Brandon Staley, what he did on Thursday night was way more egregious and way more reckless than what Harbaugh did. Like there was points where it was like, Staley, bro, you're doing a little too much. But Harbaugh, in my opinion, if you were going to go for two when it's 31-23 on the first Huntley touchdown. If you know you're going to try to go for the win anyway, because if your analytics say if you go for two 2-point conversions, you're going to get one. So why not go for it when it's 31-23? If we get that, we don't have to score a touchdown when we come out again. Or if we don't get that,
that thought process.
If we don't get that, we're going for two anyway. And we have Ravens fans fucking coming for Harbaugh saying you're ruining our season, this, and that. You really honestly wanted Harbaugh to kick the fucking extra point and give the ball back to Rodgers for just a field goal to win the game? Like, or like, because he's going to get that anyway.
Or then risk
going into OT with Rodgers.
And then they get the ball first.
I have a backup quarterback. I have to go for the win here. Like, no offense to Tyler Huntley, but I'm not trying to go into OT with Rodgers and Tyler Huntley's my quarterback. Not at all.
So there's a clip that Ravens tweeted out after the game, and it's Harbaugh talking with Huntley, asking him, do you want to kick the extra point or you want to go for it right here? Or like go for the win, he said. You want to go for the win. And Huntley was like, I want to win the game. So they go for it, and then right before the touchdown, Harbaugh says he says something like, there is no past and there is no future. Basically meaning like, if we get this here and we go for two, whatever happens, we're not thinking about the outcomes if we kick the extra point. We're certainly not thinking of the outcomes if we make the 2-point conversion and then end up losing or winning or whatever. All of that stuff is we're in this moment. We don't care about anything before and anything after. So I like that clip. And then after they miss it, Harbaugh, you see him, he's like on his he's crouched down, and he just like drops his head to his chin to his chest, holds it for like 2 seconds, steps back up, and then he's just like, pacing back and forth. Mark Andrews comes up to him.
So that's the coolest part of the clip.
And he's like, that was the right call. It was the right call. And Harbaugh hugs him, and he's like, you played your heart out today, something like that. And then he's like, I appreciate that. Like, thank you for saying that. I appreciate that, because he knew he was probably going to get some backlash by saying like, look, we got to go for it. And then we miss it. And then we lose like that. But I love like the tenacity from the Ravens in these past couple of weeks. You looked at it at the Steelers too. They went for it to win the game.
It's a no-brainer. Like, see, the one part about that video you missed at the part at the end, for me, the part at the very end, which is most important for me. Mark Andrews tells him that was the right call. They go back and forth. And he says, I love you, bro. We'll talk about it on Monday. I'm running through a fucking brick wall for that guy.
Yeah.
Like they are homies. That's not my coach. That's not my superior. That's my guy. I want to win for him. Like, and you wonder why the Ravens had been out 26. I think it might be 29 players now this season. They've been out 26, 29 players, and they're right in the playoff hunt because we want to run through a brick wall for this guy because he's putting his neck on the line for us and giving us a chance to go for the win. And you see, but this is where like good decision long term, right? Because now my players are riding for me. They have my back. They know I want to put it in their hands, which any player would want. Like, I want my coach to put it in my hands and give me the decision. Only thing about it is, if you watch that video, you could tell like when he's going around and asking the players. In my head, I'm thinking like he's second guessing himself. Like he wants to just kick the extra point, because you can tell he asked Huntley, and he's like, "You guys, all right, you want to go for it?" He's like, "All right, you want to go for it?" Like, okay, cool. Then they flip to another point. And he's like walking around. He's pacing down the sideline. He's like, all right, he's like talking to the heads. He's like, "All right, guys, are we gonna go for it? We're just gonna kick the extra point. Go for it, kick the extra point." Then he goes and asks Tyler Huntley and Mark Andrews again. He's like, "All right, you guys want to do it?" Because he's saying like, you guys want to kick the extra point or go for two, and that's kind of telling me it's like going for two. I think you want. I don't know if you really want to go for this, Harbaugh. I think you kind of want to kick the extra point here, but I don't know. I still think it was the right decision. I think, in my opinion, it was a bad play call. I mean, we're kind of just putting like, he wanted Mark Andrews to box out Stokes on the pylon, and Stokes makes a really good play, but at the same time, it's like that's just too easy to read. Like, we're just gonna roll out Huntley to the right once, and I have one read. Once Mark Andrews is in there, I did have Hollywood Brown on a deep over route, but Huntley's not that good to make that throw go into his right at full speed and go hit Huntley across the middle. I think it was the right play. I mean, the right decision, but wrong play call. That's how I feel about it. And I just think, honestly, with this analytics talk, it should be in the game. We should use like I said, we should use every single ounce of information we have, but it should not be the end all be all. We should not live and die by it. We should definitely use our intuition, and definitely there's situations that are situational. But use your fucking resources.
Well, if we also look back on like years in the past, coaches are not going for two like that to win games. Like, right. We just haven't seen that in a long time.
And the fourth downs. The fourth downs to me are probably crazier than
definitely the fourth downs.
I think the fourth downs to me are crazier because now you got to kick the extra point from 33 yards. So it's like, all right, like that. Yeah. I give you a little more of a pass. You want to go for two, but some of these fourth downs, like, but I mean,
But these are more, I'm saying, like, specifically speaking of coaches wanting to go for two to win the game. Like, we're not, we're down 29. We just got 29, and it's 29-30. We're not tying this game. We're going to go for two and win 31-30.
Right.
Something like that. And we just don't see that. And then you look at, not too long ago, Ravens, Steelers, a couple weeks ago, they did the same thing, and they missed it. So that's what I'm saying. I love the tenacity from Harbaugh and these Ravens, because not many teams are just taking that gamble and taking that shot of saying, all right, we're either going to win it right here, right now, or we're going to lose it right here, right now. We're not going to overtime. We're not doing that stuff.
And I trust in you guys.
Yeah.
Like, if you guys tell me you want to do it, I trust in you guys.
We'll
That's why you see, like, Mark Andrews, I love you, bro. They're running through a brick wall for this guy with backups and third stringers.
And then how about in the beginning of the season, earlier in the season, when Lamar was, like, you know, in his MVP talks and he was leading game-winning drives, and there's, like, clip, and he's like, you want to win the game? I want to win the game, coach. We're going for it.
Versus the Chiefs.
Yep. So, like, it's things like that where I think this team has really shown that you can go for winning those games. And I mean, it's been probably since, like, for me, 2011, 2012, 2013, when I was really seeing teams going for it to actually win the game. And now we're back seeing Ravens do that kind of stuff. We're seeing more fourth down conversions. I know the Eagles in 2017 were big on fourth downs with Dougie P. So seeing these teams that are able to convert on fourth down, it's changing the analytical side of that.
I like, in my honest opinion, like, I mean, it's better from a viewership standpoint, first of all, but that doesn't really matter at the end of the day. But I mean, I think it's better in certain situations. Like, there was a couple weeks ago on Monday Night Football, it was the 49ers versus the Rams. I don't know if you really remember, but it was kind of a blowout. But the 49ers had the ball on their own, or the Rams 4-yard line. It was 4th and 5. And then one of the guys on the Monday Night broadcast said, I think it was Levy, was like, analytics say to punt it here. No, they don't, Levy. Next play, Jimmy G hits Deebo Samuel across the middle for a touchdown. The game's over. That's why you go for it right there. Like, the percentages raise up. Like, and you've seen, like, let's not talk about the Chargers' misses. Let's talk about their makes. Even the first time they beat the Chiefs, a lot of aggressive fourth down calls. They've changed a lot of outlooks of the game. Like, you could be watching the game, it's like, okay, 4th and 6, like, we get a punt here. Like, Chargers are probably gonna go down and lose this game. Nope, we go for it on 4th down, we get it. And now they change the whole dynamic of the game. I do think, though, my final point with the Chargers and Staley is, like, you got to just feel out how my team's playing today. How are we looking in the trenches? Like, if we're gonna be going for it so much on 4th and 1, let's invest a shit ton in our trenches. Let's invest a shit ton into a running back that can get that every time on 4th and 2, 4th and 1. I think some games, it's like, all right, our guys are getting beat in the trenches. We can't get anything up the middle. Or they have a really good plan for my wide receivers today. Keeney's not getting going like he's supposed to. I can't hit Mike on these one-on-ones. Maybe we should slow down a little bit today. That's just my final thought. Let's just add a little more intuition into it. But I do like the numbers.
Yeah, it is cool to talk about the numbers too, because we haven't really talked about, like, numbers and stuff. Usually for our NFL conversations, it's a lot of breaking down the games and what happened in our reaction show. So we're digging into a little bit of this aspect as well. So we will close today's show with the PNC Championship, and a lot of the show was stolen by the Woods family, because Team Woods had the father of the duo, Tiger Woods, actually was able to play. And since the February car crash, where we thought he was going to have a prosthetic in his leg and he wasn't going to be able to really swing that club the same ever again, he was actually able to come out and play. And he's come out and said prior to this that he wasn't going to be 100% to compete in the big-time majors anymore, in the big-time tournaments. But things like this he can do. And if you watched closely, you could see he was limping a little bit.
Wincing.
He was a little gimpy here and there. And he was riding in a golf cart a lot. And he said after day one, he would have liked to be out there walking with Charlie and having that same conversation of what we have to do here, what we have to do there, because Charlie's 12 years old. Tiger's still his coach right now. So to have that, you know, space of Charlie's got to just walk with the caddy and do his own thing, stay in his own head and grind. And Tiger's like, I'm kind of using my cart. I'm picking up the balls for Justin Thomas's dad, and Justin Thomas, if they spray it right, I'm going to use my cart to go get those balls. But it was a little bit different because he wasn't in sync with Charlie the entire time. So we'll highlight, you know, the recaps of it, of Team Daly with John and Little John were able to walk away with the win. A lot of that was really taken a lot of the day, personally, from viewership-wise. Not a lot of the dailies were shown. I think there was a little bit disrespectful.
People were saying there was an agenda against the dailies, and people just wanted to see
I think so too. But seeing Tiger out there able to play again, made it all worthwhile to watch. And watching Charlie is just, I mean, he took over social media. He took over the analysts talking about golf. I mean, he is 12 years old hitting the shots like this. It was the second to last hole for them, a par 3. water on the left, and he kind of has to play it like a baby draw, and he does just that. He lands left of the pin, and it lands about 6 feet from the hole and rolls another 2 feet, and he's tucked in nicely, and they make a birdie. The story of the day for Team Woods is they birdied 11 of their last 12 holes, and that they were just one shy of tying the tournament record of 12 birdies in a row, but 11 birdies in the row. They finished out the front 9 birdie, and then birdied the next 6 on the back 9. And it was funny, after the day 1, Tiger actually said, I think we're just going to have to birdie the entire back 9. And they literally, in day 2, and they literally did just that. So we need to just have some comparisons here, because Team Daly and Team Woods are much different. Obviously, age-wise is what I'm really hinting at here. Charlie's 12, and Little John is 18. He's a freshman at University of Arkansas. So... and he's a very good golfer as well. We've been following him for a while. He played in the PNC last year. He's got a great swing. And seeing some of these videos of him breaking down his swing, how he's able to make that quick minor adjustment, and I'm going to hit a draw. And then I'll make that quick minor adjustment right as I set up. I'm going to hit a fade here. Things like that. And then you see Charlie, and again, the kid's 12 years old, and he's on one of the biggest stages. People were talking about this event as being like the win of the year. And for Tiger, it would have been, because, again, his crash happened in February, and he wasn't able to play. He said in an interview with NBC afterwards, he said that this was probably only his 4th, 5th, maybe 6th time playing all year. So to come out in 4, 5, 6 times, you're limping on your leg, right? And you're able to play like this.
Almost chipped in a couple times.
Yeah, the last if he chipped that in, then we're almost looking at a playoff, I think. But I got to be happy for Daly and Little John. And then let's look at our third place guys. That was Justin Thomas and his father. So there was a nice little leaderboard there of the guys that were there, and it's cool because a lot of these guys, these professional players, are playing with their kids. Henrik Stenson was playing with his young kid. Tiger's playing with his young kid. Daly's playing with his young kid. Justin's playing with his father. Like, that's so cool. So to see some of these guys that we haven't really heard of their names, and they're in the leaderboard in the top 10, is cool to see. And it was a great event. And I'm just happy to follow Charlie. So one of the key things that Tiger did say, and like I already mentioned, is he won't really be playing in those big events. I don't know, based on how he played this weekend and the shots he had, he definitely still has it. The power definitely wasn't there. And that's the biggest thing that a lot of fans noticed as well, seeing him in real time live, is the power wasn't there. And you could tell. He said, I'm going to need a lot of Charlie's drives. And Charlie was able to pipe it down the middle every time. So, but maybe that's a little like, all right, if he was able to do this here, a little busted up, and he does some training, gets back, maybe that me not playing in another major is not officially completely off the table. So we might still see that. But if that is, if we're not going to see Tiger again, a lot of the spectrums on social media were, that's not the last time we're going to see a Woods in a major.
Facts.
And then the other, question that brings up is, in 6 years, when Charlie's 18, 7 years, 8 years, 9 years, he's in his 20s, is Tiger Woods going to be on the back? Is Tiger Woods going to be on his back? That's my question. I can't wait to see that. Hopefully he can walk, right, and not have that pressure of doing all that walk with a heavy bag, for 4 or 5 hours every Sunday, every week, every Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But that would be super cool, right? You got Tiger Woods as your coach, and I'm already this good at 12 years old. And one of the final things after we can start debating on it, is Tiger said, I saw this is another TikTok clip. That's why I love that stupid app. But it's a interview, and Tiger's like, look, so Charlie's 12 years old, and one of the things that I always tell him is, if you're playing at home with your friends and your buddies, or if you're playing in a tournament, or if you're playing in front of a whole TV crew like this weekend, that shot is still going to be the same shot every time. That shot's not going to change. It's an 8-foot putt in front of a TV crew on national television on Sunday in red. That's still going to be the same putt if you were doing that with your buddies, or you're playing in a tournament for amateur. It's the same putt. It's the same driver, same chip shot, the same iron shot. So all you have to do is filter out that those negative thoughts in your mind. There's things like that. And when he said that, I'm like, that actually makes so much sense, because it's so much easier when, you know, you have like one or two people watching you and you get a little bit giddy that someone's watching. And Charlie's doing that. It's the same shot. I'm not hitting that shot 4 feet on a baby draw with water on my left at a par 3 to make the final birdie to put us in contention on the 18th hole. He's 12 years old doing that. So all he had to do was just filter out that white noise that they say, right? And he was able to do that. And I think that was one of the key quotes of the weekend. Obviously that, you know, I might be back, but 2, Charlie's able to fight out this noise. He's 12 years old. Little John's 18. That's when you know the GOAT is the GOAT. When his kid is 12 years old playing on this stage. I mean, are you kidding me? Like, I think we're still overlooking that fact. That's all I'm going to say. But I think we're overlooking that fact. He's 12 years old. And he was a part of 11 birdies in 12 holes. Like, it's just the Tiger Woods blood. That's
exactly what it is. Nah, it was so dope to see Tiger, because we just don't know how many times like we're gonna be able to see him. And I remember we were down here watching it together on the interview when he said he wasn't gonna play anymore, and like I was speechless.
Yeah,
like
weird.
that's just that's everyone's guy. Like, and so you have to soak in every single opportunity you get to watch Tiger. I think it's really cool. Like, you see the social media clips of like the way he's just looking at Charlie, he hits shots and he's smiling at him. They're giving each other like little fist pumps and
Charlie's
shit.
got swagger.
I'm like, that is cool, bro. And what you said about that, like Charlie just has it.
Yeah.
Like I saw like, because I feel like he's 12 years old, so he's doing things at 12 years old that are just fucking insane. But
Yeah,
I think
real.
it is crazy that like after the first 2 times we've seen him on TV, I see his shots now. I'm like, oh yeah, no, there goes Charlie. Like, yep, 350 down the middle of the fucking fairway. Yeah, that's Charlie. It's on the 17th, I got the water to my left, right on the pin. Yeah, that's Charlie. Another one, par 3, hits the bank at the top of the green, rolls it right back
all
down.
the way back. Yeah.
Little fucking twirl at the end. Yeah, that's Charlie. Like, I don't give a fuck. I don't even really get surprised. I don't have to tell anybody. I don't have to tweet. Like, he's just cold. I do love, and I wish they showed more light in this, I do love John Daly out there with the flow going, a little Siggy, the gut out, hitting some balls, darts on the green. I wish they would have showed it. Maybe it's not. Maybe that's a little too.
Maybe they didn't want
Can't show it on TV.
Yeah.
Or they get
Golf etiquette,
but I mean, come on, guys. Like, how do you guys golf on a Sunday afternoon? That's exactly how we do it. Maybe not a cigarette. Maybe a little Bloody Mary if you want one, or from me, a little Orange Crush.
Sure.
But I love to see that. For me though, I mean, Charlie had an amazing shot, and it probably was the best shot of the weekend on 17th.
Yep.
JT came up. So his pop mic hit one down the middle, easy to go. I can go for right here. He lines up full to the right, hits one over the trees, bomb, smack on the green. Like it was nothing. Maybe because it's JT, he's a pro, and Charlie's 12, and Charlie's gonna do. But guys, Tyler, I need that video. That is a fucking shot. Yep. Like that was, and that's one of the coolest things about tournaments like this, when people are playing with 2 people, like. You probably don't see it as much in the Ryder Cup, like more of a tournament like this where it's lower key and like it's not much of a prize, but like you guys were going for that shit, bro. And there were some shots this whole weekend that were wild. It was a hell of a tournament.
This was an exhibition too. So that was like the other side of this too, is this didn't mean anything for stats or points or whatever the hell.
We're just going for that shit.
We're just going to play. And then it's like, wow, this almost turned into one of like the best events of the year. And it was,
wish there was $1 million
goddamn exhibition. And for Tiger, after, you know, everything that's happened this year, this would have been something to, you know, great to cap off the year. But it wasn't really about that. Like, you can see how these fathers are looking at their kids when they're playing with them, because who doesn't want to go out with their father, or for if you're a parent, who doesn't want to go out with their kid and play golf, regardless of if it's on this big stage or if it's just a random Thursday afternoon. But for these guys, I get to have fun with my kid for back-to-back days, live coverage, right? And we just get to go out there and have fun. And that was the biggest thing for Tiger that he was saying to Charlie. We're just going to go have fun. That's all we're going to do. We're able to play together. Let's have fun.
I wonder how much we're going to be seeing, because Charlie's 12.
Yep.
So he probably can't really compete on the tour for what, like minimum 6-7 years?
Yeah,
like, I feel like these TV networks are going to like, we need more of Charlie. Like, I don't know if this is going to be like him in a match with like Tom Brady and them or something, because like,
we don't know how much.
But it's unfortunate because we don't know how much Tiger can play. So it's so easy for networks and NBC and then to be like, oh no, Tiger's playing all year. He'll have something. He'll have something with Charlie. But could we see a Brooks Charlie duo, a Peyton Charlie duo?
Could we see
a Steph Curry Charlie duo?
Could we see a John Daly and Little John versus Tiger and Charlie on Capital One's The Match?
No, that's something that we would need. That's something something that we would need.
Could we see that?
That's something that we would need.
TikTok, let me know, bro.
I don't know if FanDuel wants
man.
that because I think I would be sprinting to bet on Charlie so fast. But I don't know. I mean, the Dailies did win. The Dailies did win the exhibition.
I just feel like they wouldn't want John Daly's like demeanor of like the cigs and all the drinking out there.
I think that's so like
he has one of the craziest life stories ever. He's lost between $50 and $60 million in his career of gambling.
I love it. I love like
it's insane.
I think John Daly, like, I think he should kind of be spotlighted more just for being a human.
Yeah.
Like, there's not a lot of people that are on the grand stage that were the best at what they did at some point for a prolonged stretch of time, and then you see them like, oh, he is a human. Dad bod, Marlboro red in his lips. Like, he is a regular dude. I personally love it. Calling his shots.
There's a video
out there. Where was his Diet Cokes? Where were they at?
Yeah, it's exactly. I've been seeing a lot on TikTok of more just clips from John Daly talking about like his experiences with Tiger. Throughout this weekend, they were asking him some questions of his rookie year, and Little John was with them, and he was watching the whole tape on his iPad, and they were just talking about it. So he's like, yeah, this season, my rookie year, I was able to win, the championship at the end, PGA championship at the end of the year. And I had already secured my my tour card for the next year. So I was already in there. But this was like one of the greatest things to cap off, that year. I already got my tour card, and then I win this event. There were 60,000 people there. So this was just such an insane moment for me. And you see how young he is, and he still has like those ugly like dress slacks on, and like that ugly long, like it's a longer sleeve collared shirt, goes down to like his elbows. He's still got his mullet. It's like bleach blonde.
Yep.
He's much skinnier. But he shows like you don't have to be that athletic build, right? He's drinking.
Who's fucking my fault? Whose dad was out there at 86? There was an 86-year-old man. My fault, bro. There was an 80. Like this is one of the crazy things about because the PNC was like that. Like you said, like Henrik Stenson spots out there. Like there was people out there. This dude was 86 years old. I'm pretty sure he drove the green on one par 4, or it might have been a par 3, and he just had a hybrid out. But I was like, yo, there's really some old heads out here getting busy. Like it was so cool to fucking see, man.
Yeah, you look at these pictures from these events, and again, it's all about like the family thing. So a lot of it's like, yeah, it was really cool to win. That's the thing that John Daly said. It's really cool to win, but we had a great time.
Exactly.
Like I'm out here with my kid every day for this week preparing for this, and then we get to go on like one of the biggest stages, and it was almost treated like an actual like event. They were Tiger and Charlie and Daly were tying the course record. Right, this on Sunday, they both tied the course record. One away from beating it if Tiger and Charlie could have got that last birdie on 18 to have 12 birdies in a row, which would have been another tournament record there. But I just can't wait to see more Charlie. I can't wait to see what happens with Tiger. Is he going to be able to play? Like I said, he's only played in a couple of events this year. Only played a couple rounds of golf this year, regardless of the events.
Yeah, I don't know how that rehab process goes. Like. Because you have to walk the major, right? Like you can't. Like,
yeah, well,
you're not gonna. Would they accommodate? Like you know what I'm saying?
They would accommodate. Not to it. Towards the end of Daly's career, he was riding around in like a little cart.
Okay. So no, we could. I mean, it's a possibility.
But it wasn't like an actual like traditional golf cart. Like it was one of like the bag wasn't on or anything. He still had a caddy, I think. But it was one of those like one of the carts that like they drive around the events. Like it looks like one of those like gators almost. It was one of those.
That's
that he
dope.
was driving around.
No, but I feel like. Cause it's like, is it worth it? Like I get it, Tiger, because you see him, bro. He's taking tee shots and he's going on to get his tee like on his leg, and he's just wincing.
Oh yeah,
he's limping sometimes. Like if in his mind, like if it's not for Charlie, like how worth it is it? Like unless I'm trying to go out to win one more Masters or something, or like, but like I don't want to be wincing like this at a Bermuda Championship and limping trying to fucking chip on for like I'm good, man. I accomplished everything I wanted to accomplish. Let me coach my son to be better than me.
I think we need to like see more events. Like more of these events.
I think it's great for golf. It's great for TV. Like some people, I think it's easier for the public viewer to watch such a laid back event, and like I can really laissez-faire watch this through. Like I can miss 9 holes and just go check in on Charlie and be cool. I'm not missing anything. It's not really too important. I don't need to be following golf before this know what's going on. I think it's a great way to grow the sport. Like I want to see more of this. I was gonna say when you were talking in my head, I'm thinking like I wish ESPN would pick some shit up like this. Like I know it's the PNC Championship, but maybe like we'll see Charlie in a match or something. But I want to see more golf like you're saying on the biggest stage, like how it's the biggest stage as far in golf and the tournament. But I want to see it on the biggest stage in sports. Like, let's get this shit on ESPN. Like, let's get more matches.
But it was fun. I mean, this was also played in Orlando as well. I didn't mention that at the beginning, but you know, I've just off like the top of my head when I first turned it on, I'm like, what are they playing in like Arizona this weekend or like where? Orlando. So that East Coast time.
Yeah, we have a weird thing too going on where we kind of like slightly predicting. So if we see a match between like the Dailies or Charlie,
I honestly think
we need a percentage for the marketing. Like we had the idea, boys.
Like Capital wins the match. I could see Charlie and Tiger against Daly and Daly.
That'd be so fire.
That would be unreal. I mean, how like.
Or even like, could you imagine like the little guys versus the older guys?
That could be like the Bryson and Brooks because
easily.
Like Daly could like fire it up where he's gonna trash talk Tiger.
Oh my god,
and like
about everything.
It could be like a damn like a fight press conference, right? And it could be they could sell the shit out of it.
Yep.
And then it's like my kid versus my kid and me versus your kid and you. And the craziest thing is, if Tiger and Charlie beat them, again, last thing I'm saying, but this is the third time I'm saying it. Charlie is 6 years younger than John Daly the second, bro. So
like John Daly's a hell of a golfer. Like,
imagine when Charlie's his age, bro. What?
That's what I'm saying. Like John Daly is a Division I golfer. Like a very, very fucking good player. Like, do you think he just knows in the back of his mind, like, bro, this 12-year-old is over me? Like,
yeah, over
sucks.
me, bro, over me.
I've been putting in all this time. I'm a Division I golfer. I'm dripped out, and this 12-year-old with the little fucking flow coming out of his hat is just way over me. This shit
My
sucks.
favorite clip of the week was I think they were practicing putting on like the 12th green.
Yep.
This is day one. Also, their fits were awesome. Obviously, we saw them in Sunday Red, but I like that the black pants and the peach that they wore.
I was gonna say I knew you liked the salmon.
I like that whatever peach or salmon that was.
Yes,
I really like that color. So there's a clip of them. They're practicing like on the 12th green, and Justin Thomas and Tiger are watching, and Charlie putts it, and then he looks like it's going in, so he lifts the putter up just like his dad always did, and it goes in, and then Tiger's laughing and Justin's laughing, and then Charlie puts up the money sign like this, and he's like, "Give me my money." So I love that. From this kid. He has it. He has the swagger, and you know he's built for the big stage. He's built for the big moment, and to be on camera like that.
One thing I like about him too, never too high, never too low. For like a 12-year-old too, like. I know for damn sure, me at 12 years old, if I put a shot within as close as he's been putting shots in, I'm getting hype. I'm yelling and shit. Nah, I'm cool.
Yeah,
I've been here before.
And then
I'll walk right down.
It was fun watching him have some misses because it was funny. Like he's tough on himself.
Mm-hmm.
We saw a couple where like he put one in the water on Sunday, and he just kind of like looked away. I was okay, but he put like a driver, and I think he like faded it right a little bit. It was still in the fairway, it was just like on the right side. And after he gets done the swing, he like does takes his club back like that and just like jerks it back across his body, and that was like him like mad at himself, but like. Bro, you're still in the fairway. Like, so that's what I love that from this kid. He's still so hard on himself, but it was still a great shot. But he's so hard on himself. I love this kid. I can't wait to see more of him. And hey, Capital won the match. You know where to find us.
Give us a percentage just for the marketing. We got you. We started the hype. Before you guys started the hype.
Hey, that's good. That clip is going on TikTok now. I mean, the Daily and Woods showdown is going to be fire next Thanksgiving on Black Friday. But all right, guys, that's going to wrap things up for this show.
Yeah, we got to get ready for a reaction show.
We got to get ready for a reaction show. We have two football games tonight with COVID being weird. And once again, we will have I almost said it.
Well, yeah, that NHL just shut down for the season, right?
Holy
I'm pretty sure
bro.
NHL just shut down.
We will have an announcement, not an E-word.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty sure we're talking about NHL.
God damn, that
COVID,
I just like
they just shut
rolled off.
Omicron. Yeah, something like that.
Well,
Merry fucking Christmas, boys.
Yeah, wow. But on that note, we will have an announcement coming out by the end of this week. Probably, like I said at the beginning, when this video is out, you will see that announcement. So this is going to be huge for us. It's going to be huge for you. And we can't wait to get it going. So just be on the lookout for that on all our social media platforms, starting with Twitter at 8080 Podcast and Instagram as well. We just hit 400 on there at 8080 Pod. The TikTok is the name of the show, the All Day Everyday Show, and the Facebook page is the same as well. We streamed for the first time in 2 months last week on Twitch. That's just the All Day Everyday Show. it was good to get back on there. We're watching some games. We're betting on some games. So come hang out when we stream again. We'll notify you guys on the social medias if you're following those. But we had a lot of fun. Let's talk about YouTube. And it's time to get ready for another show.
If you made it to the end of this video, I appreciate you so much. I'm hoping you're having an amazing Christmas and a happy holidays. All me and Alex want for Christmas from you guys is a like, comment, subscribe.
Yes, we
that
do.
notification bell. It's the All Day Everyday shows. You know, we're All Day Everyday Show boys. We're grinding and signing off.
Signing off. We will see you guys from the reaction show. Apple Podcast 5-star rating. You've been listening to the All Day Everyday Show with All Day AJ and the homie Manny Ruffin. My name is Alex Jacobs, but you can call me All Day AJ. We probably won't have this Christmas tree up for the next show, so enjoy it. See you later.